It's my pleasure and honor to be here with Dr. Sonja Lyubomirsky in University of California in Riverside in her office, where she runs the Positive Psychology Lab. Sonja is the author of the book, The How of Happiness, and has won numerous awards, and I'm not going to mention all of them now. And we'll be talking about a lot of things, inner peace, about different things that people can do in their daily lives to improve their well-being and become happier. And if time permits, maybe about motorcycles and going on the road and whatnot. So Sonja, thank you for taking the time to talk.
Thanks for coming.
Yep. Yeah. So I want to start by asking you, maybe just to give a little bit of a nutshell overview of your current research interest and the things you're studying now, because I know you've been studying well-being and happiness in different ways for a good 20 years. So, what's your current focus?
Sure. So the last 10 years, my focus changed to studying: is it possible for people to become happier? Because there's a lot of reasons why it may not be possible to gain lasting happiness. Happiness is in part genetically determined, and it's part of a personality, which is very stable, doesn't change much over the lifespan. And also, people get used to things very quickly. So we get something really good in our lives, and then we get used to it, and we go right back to our previous happiness level. So there's lots of reasons to think you can't really become happier. So I argue with my colleagues that it is possible to become happier. And so I wrote this, the book, The How of Happiness, about that. And so in my lab, basically, we do what are called happiness interventions, which are kind of like clinical trials, but instead of testing a new drug treatment or something like that, we test happiness activities or strategies that people can use. And we've tested like having people do acts of kindness. Does that make people happier? Yes, it does. Writing gratitude letters, savoring the good things in life. Now, I'm not just interested in what makes people happy or happier. I'm interested in why and how do these strategies work. In technical terms, those are called mediators and moderators.
Yes.
And so anyways, I've done lots of interventions in my lab. I have 5 grad students right now who are all really wonderful. And we're doing some really exciting studies right now. I mean, many, we don't have the data yet, but they're sort of in progress.
Well, I have to ask you another kind of common question, I guess, is about money and happiness. And I guess maybe the most common question. Because, the common belief is because there's never enough resources. There's always, if you have more money, you can buy more things, you can, do more things. And it seems like, that's where people focus. Because of that. That's very obvious.
Right.
So I know it's not a simple answer.
Well, I'm going to shock you by saying money makes people happy. Okay. But it depends on how they spend it. And so I'm writing a new book right now called The Prepared Mind, and I have a chapter in it about money. And I actually have, there's hundreds of studies on money and happiness, or probably hundreds, definitely dozens and dozens.
Yeah.
And I read most of them, and I kind of summarized like this is the bottom line.
So what is it?
I'm not sure because actually there's 5 different bottom lines, but what I want to tell you about is that it's how you spend the money is important. Money, of course, can make you happier because money can allow you to quit your horrible job and write a novel if that's what you really want to do. It can allow you to spend more time with your friends and travel to fascinating destinations. So it depends how you spend it, right? If you spend it on like brand name designer products and sort of lots of material things, that is not going to make you happy. Unfortunately, that is what a lot of people do with money, is they just buy more stuff.
And you said, you said before when we were talking about money how it's important to be comfortable. I think you used the word comfortable a couple of times. And that's something that, to me, is an insight, that I think comfort became a value in our society. It's important to be comfortable. You want your kids to be comfortable. You want to be comfortable. But to some degree, it's bad for you to be comfortable. So you become idle when you're comfortable. You become too comfortable.
Right. No, I understand. That's interesting. I mean, by comfortable, I meant, you don't have to worry about safety, poverty, not having food to eat. So, but it's a challenge.
But there's value in actually worrying about those things. It's like this thing about you need to be hungry in business to succeed, or I don't know. It's
interesting because I'm from Russia, and my parents travel back a lot, and they'll come when they come back. They always say, "Oh, America is so boring," And it's because like everything's so easy. Like you go to the Safeway, you drive there, and you park, and you get all your groceries, and they're all there, and they're all beautiful, and they're not even that expensive. And you put them in your car and you drive home. And there, it's like such a huge challenge. You know, not only in terms of like you have to go to 10 different stores to get what you need, and then half of them are out of what you want, and then you might get mugged on the way there. Like there's, in fact, literally like there's this mafia everywhere.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, and they're like, it's
that's
so
not boring.
It's a high. You know, they say it's like a high to be there.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if I wanted. Yeah,
well, I don't know if you would
that.
choose to do that, but that's the thing. If you are, so I think that's the second insight is about fulfilling dreams.
Right. But anyway, so in midlife is when you tend to have regrets. So I think that's why that's the whole work on regret is very interesting. I mean, very relevant.
Yes.
And that's when you need to really work through them. There's also some research on by Laura King on what she calls lost possible selves, and it's relevant to regret. It's kind of like, is there a you know, it's too late to be I mean, you of course you can still follow certain dreams, but there's certain things that it's too late for you to do. You will never be that person you could have been. Because you're already past that point. You can't do it. And so that's your lost possible self. You could have been, you know, or you could have moved to Europe and spent your life living in Europe, but you didn't. You know, you could have married, but you didn't, or you could have stayed single, but you didn't. And so you have to, and so she actually finds that people who really are able to work through their lost possible selves, not only does that build, you know, what she calls maturity, but also happiness. So it's kind of like a complex happiness, sort of mature happiness.